I'm looking at it, and just from a business standpoint, I'm like, this guy should be worshiping the ground that his employer walks on. I would never pay him that much money for what he's billing. And so I put that, and Physiogram, kind of reacted to my comment. And then I decided to make sure I gave some context to what it is that I was saying.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me, my friends. Okay, I feel like I've got to do another birds and the bees conversation. I usually have to do it a few times a year when I see people, behaving out of pocket, out of line. I'm going to give you some context to this, and then we're going to have birds and the bees. So this is one of those episodes where I want you to bring your staff. I want you to bring your team members. If you're a professor that's listening right now, I want you to go huddle up the students, bring them all in so we can have this talk about the birds and the bees. Now, I know the birds and the bees is a very, very, very difficult and tough conversation, and maybe a little bit awkward, but it's a conversation that really needs to be had, because we don't want to be creating no impregnation stuff going on. Well, you're like, whoa, Greg, where you going? Well, I'm actually going to have a profession birds and the bees conversation, okay? Birds and the bees conversation that needs to be had. And we're going to talk about something that should have been talked about to every single student upon the first day of entering any medical program. Whether you're a physical therapist, you're an occupational therapist, you're a speech therapist, you're a medical doctor, you're a registered nurse. You need to understand this, because it doesn't look like this is being talked about in school. So let's talk about the birds and the bees. Now, let me give you some context to why I'm even bringing this up. Recently, I got semi-roasted on Instagram on a page called Physiogram. I brought it on myself, and I don't regret it at all. I'm very happy I did it, but I realized that it was a good thing, because it created some good conversation. So here's what happened. There was a dude on Reddit, and Physiogram puts this up, right? And they put up the post of this guy. And basically, he says he's an experienced therapist. Okay, I'm just going off the post. He said that he makes $105,000 a year. He was extremely upset because his boss gave him a 0.5% increase in pay. And he was very, very, very upset and felt like it was a total slap in the face. He went on to say that he bills anywhere between $315,000 to $340,000 a year. And he feels like they are ripping him off. And so I decided to repost on my page the post that guy put. And I saw the comments, and everybody's like, oh, they're screwing you over. Oh, they don't know what we're worth. Oh, we're this. Oh, we're that. Oh, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. And I'm looking at it, and just from a business standpoint, I'm like, this guy should be worshiping the ground that his employer walks on. I would never pay him that much money for what he's billing. And so I put that, and Physiogram, kind of reacted to my comment. And then I decided to make sure I gave some context to what it is that I was saying. So, maybe I'll put the post in this video, okay? But basically, after the post, Physiogram took that post and they put my video on their page. And boy, did they roast me. They roasted me, but for every one person that roasted me, about 10 totally agreed with what I was saying. So the first thing is, for every 10, you're going to annoy 1, 2, or 3. And that's okay. It's worth it. It's totally worth it. So are you willing to do that? Because if you're not willing, by the way, I got tons of new followers. I got tons of people listening to my videos. I got a lot of people that never even knew of me to know of me. And I wasn't clout chasing. I just was saying it. They put it up on the page. I didn't tell them to do it. But anyways, that's what happened. Okay. So now with all that said, let's talk about the birds and the bees. Okay. Birds and the bees is understanding what worth really means. Okay. So number one, let's talk about worth. Okay. Knowing your worth. There's a difference between your worth in the eyes of God, your self-worth, and your worth in a marketplace. They're three different things. Know what you're worth. No, let me tell you, when it comes to the marketplace, you have a specific worth in the marketplace. I'll talk about it in a second, okay? And the numbers don't lie, all right? You got to know who you are in the marketplace, and you got to know what you're doing in the marketplace, know what position you're holding in the marketplace, and then just accept it, okay? So let me tell you the positions, okay? Number one, the most important position in the marketplace. If you're working for a clinic, you're working for a hospital, you're working for an ALF, you're working for a SNF, your home health, the most important position in the marketplace is the investor, okay? The investor is the one that gives the resources in order for all the other players in the game to operate. So without the investor, you're not working. Nobody's going to school for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to do volunteer work for the thing that you went to school and you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. You're not doing that, okay? So there's someone that has to pay you, and you know that, right? And that person that pays you is the funder. They're the investor. And that person, guess what they want? They're willing to pay money up front so that they can get their money back and more. So the investor must get paid. And they usually are the highest paid of the players in the game. We are in the healthcare game, okay? And healthcare is a business. All right, that's number one. More than likely, you're not the investor. If you're a business owner, you are, and all you need to do is be the investor, and you still should get compensated, okay? Because you are doing something that the other players in the game are not willing to do. All right, now let's talk about number two. Number two is the managers. The manager is the person that oversees all of the operators in said business, okay? So the manager, that's what they do. They oversee everyone in the business. They oversee the admin staff, the front desk, the techs, the therapists, the dietitians, all the things. Patients get upset, patients get pissy, the managers deal with it, okay? Somebody starts losing their ish, the managers deal with it. Somebody says there's harassment, the managers deal with it, right? Without the managers, people typically do bad things to one another, okay? Patients lose their ish, therapists lose their ish with the front desk lose their ish with the therapist. The manager's job is to keep everybody cohesive, keep them together. The manager is basically the head coach of the team. Got it? Okay. All right. And then after the managers, there are the operators. Okay. These are the players that are operating this particular business game of healthcare, whether you're a physical therapist, you have a pediatric practice, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Okay. Those are operators. That could be your admin staff. It could be techs. It could be therapists. It could be therapist assistants. It could be many different disciplines, right? It could be maybe you have other wellness services. Maybe you have Pilates. You have massage therapists. You have this. You have that. Okay. All of those are operators in the game. Okay. All right. Now, who is the most replaceable of those three that I said? The funder, the manager, or the operators? It's the operators all day. Now, I'm not saying you're not valuable. You are valuable, but there's a certain value that you hold in the marketplace. Okay. You don't hold the same value as a manager, and the manager doesn't hold the same value as a funder. That's it. I worked so much harder at TJ Maxx than I'm working now. TJ Maxx, I had to clean up dookie. Okay? Clean up match. At TJ Maxx, I had to clean up puke. At TJ Maxx, I had to fix up the men's department. TJ Maxx, I'd have some trifling hood ratchet ladies, come in trying to change trying to change price tags from like one blouse to another blouse. And then when I call them out on it, they threaten to kill me. TJ Maxx is a much tougher environment than what I am doing today. Well, the reality is that today I'm a funder. Okay, I'm a funder. And at TJ Maxx, even though the work was harder, I was in operations. I was operating a portion of the business. I was operating the bathroom and I was operating the men's department. And then I ended up moving to head cashier. I was never at the managerial level at TJ Maxx. I was never at the managerial level at my next job, which is Perry Ellis. Okay. It wasn't until I was in my second outpatient job as a physical therapist that I became managerial. And I was able to move my salary up by 40%. So I need you to understand something. Don't ever talk about your worth. Understand your self-worth, your worth with God and Christ, and your marketplace worth are three different worths. Your worth with God and Christ, there's a different type of worth, okay? Nobody is better or worse. We just finished celebrating a very, very, very monumental day that we celebrate every year. And that is a day that we celebrate for Jesus being resurrected from the dead, because he died 3 days prior. And he died for us. So our worth is amazing. But let's not get our worth from Christ twisted with our worth in the marketplace based on a skill set and based on where we're operating in the business of whatever it is that we're doing. Okay? And then your self-worth is how much you value yourself. How much you value yourself to, at least in my definition, it's how much you value yourself to be able to reach the potential of what you believe God has put you on this earth to do. All right? Some people don't, they feel like, yeah, they know they're called for something else, but they don't value themselves enough to go and stretch themselves and do the thing. And that's self-worth. But the three really don't have anything to do with each other. Okay? My worth at Christ is my worth at Christ. My worth in the marketplace is different. I'm no better than a janitor. I'm no better than a janitor when it comes to God. But in the marketplace, I have a skill set and I'm operating at a higher level, so I get paid more. So understand that and just stop talking about this, know your worth, know your worth. Know your marketplace worth. And if you knew your marketplace worth, you wouldn't be tripping that your boss gave you a 0.5% raise. You should be thankful and grateful. Okay? All right, now let's talk about the next two things real quick. Let's talk about billing. Okay? Now, if you all are in school, please, if you've got a student right now, make them listen to this episode. If you are in school, the majority of you are not going to be doing cash-based services when you come out of school. School trains you so that you will work in insurance-based settings. School does not teach you on marketing and sales to be able to attract cash-based, high-level, high-ticket clients. They don't teach you that skill set. So every single one of you are coming out as a new grad, able to treat patients but not have to overcome objections, and you're not trained with the skill set to be able to get people to see higher levels of perceived value and intrinsic value in what it is that you do. So if that's the case, then you must understand that you are going to be billing. Let me explain something about billing. If you bill for $300,000, we typically get collection and compensation of about 50% of what we bill. Some insurance companies, it's on the lower end, like 30%, okay? Some of you, like Cigna, Humana, whatnot, terrible, they're brutal, okay? So you get on the low end, 30%. Some of you, it just depends on the area, right? Okay, I could have these mixed depending on what your area is. Blue Cross, Aetna, TRICARE, Medicare, they might be upwards of, 50, 60, 70%. Regardless, there's no insurance except for auto that pays you the full amount of what you bill. So if you billed $350,000, more than likely the company that you work for got paid $175,000. If you're getting $105,000, you're actually putting the company in a really bad predicament because you're paying way too much for what you do as an operator. There are other people that need to get paid based on what that patient or those groups of patients are doing with you. You're putting the company in massive jeopardy by getting paid that amount. Like, please understand that. This is called billing. This is billing 101, 102, 103. Okay? Like, give me a break. All right? Just because you bill that amount doesn't mean you get that amount collected. All right? And the amount that you're taking from the company is extremely dangerous to that company's longevity and health. All right? Number 3, billing codes. Okay? Billing codes. Your billing codes for physical therapy evaluation is 97001. All right, 97162 if you're doing Medicare, this, that, whatever. Okay, 97112 for neuro re-education, 97110 for therapeutic exercise. I did the billing for my companies. Okay, at least those were the codes. I don't know if they're the codes anymore. But basically, here's what I need you all to understand. In billing, there are no modifier codes based on experience. Meaning that if you have 30 years of experience, there's not a 97110, which is a therapeutic exercise code, -35, because 35 years of experience. And because of that 35, you get paid 35 times more for that 15-minute increment. That's not how it works. It doesn't matter if you have been out of school for 5 days or you've been practicing for 50 years. This is what you signed up for. You get paid the same. It's the same amount. The more you bill in regards to codes, the more you get paid. There is a contract that the company that you work for made with that insurance company to where there's a certain amount that you're usually capped on without what you're allowed to bill in terms of the codes, which are usually 15-minute increments of work. And most of the time, there's a cap of 2 to 4 codes you can bill in any session. But there is no increase in compensation based on years of experience. It doesn't matter. And I think if we can understand those 3 things that I just said, okay, you can understand that. I think we just had the birds and the bees talk. And I think we should be able to move forward now. Every single student should know this. Every new grad should know this. Every 5-year clinician should know this. So the question is, why don't they teach this to you? Well, they don't teach it to you because if you knew, you probably wouldn't do it. You probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't do this, right? It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't work. And what are they trying to do? Do you think they're trying to get you to make a lot of money? No, they're trying to get you, by the way, I don't think they want you to lose money, but they're trying to get you to pay them. They're trying to get you to pay them money so that you will go through their respective program. Now, if they gave you all the details, you might think twice. At the end of the day, they're running a business too. So right now, I know I have to be the unk, as my kids say. I got to be the uncle that gives you the bad news, but that's the news. Now, here's the good news. The good news is that that's externally what is in front of you. Internally is what you can do about it, okay? Now, I'm not going to use this podcast episode to talk about what you can do about it. You can go back and listen to the other 150 or whatever thing I have, okay? These podcast episodes tell you what to do about it, all right? But this one is just the birds and the bees. Just let's understand, this is where we're at, this is what you need to understand, and then now you make your decision on what you want to do moving forward or what you don't want to do about it moving forward. Either way, don't blame anybody but yourself. Okay? So now you got the birds and the bees talk. Now go out there and go get them, Tiger. All right. See y'all on the next episode. Till next time.
That was easy.